We're going dinghy racing today. Shearwater catamaran designed in the 1950s. Wind indicator. Pretty useful tools these. Firstly, we're going to rig the boat. So the next thing we're going to do is tie our trapeze bungee to our trapeze wire. Number of ways of doing this. Lots of people do things different ways. The way I'm going to do it, not a lot of people like. But it's basically making a bowline out of the bungee, passing it through here so that it goes through itself. People don't like it because if you make the bungee too long, it creates another loop. And people don't like loops in case you hook your trapeze harness into the hoop and not into the trapeze handle. So this is how I do it anyway. Clearly not a health and safety recommended method. So we're going to take our bungee loop that we just made. It's going through the middle here. We're going to pass the rest of the handle through here and then pull it tight. There we go. We can let go of our trapeze wire and the bungee holds it in the middle of the boat for us. So unless you haven't worked it out yet, I'm quite a lazy beggar. What we're trying to do here is run our spinnaker halyard through this chute up here. I don't really like getting down on my hands and knees and trying to do that by hand, so I tend to run my spinnaker sheet all the way through this tube. Then I can tie the two together. So I was going to use a fisherman's knot on this one. Fisherman's knot. Now the theory is I can pull this from all the way at the front of the boat and we'll get this end up there where it needs to be. There it is. As you can see, pretty high tech. The boom is held onto the gooseneck by a bit of string. The main sheet blocks onto the boom, which we are using just a little bit of 5mm Spectra or Dyneema. Right, so that's the main sheet on. So on this boat, we've got the main sheet, the yellow, is tied on to the blue sheet, which is our traveller. So then when I'm rolling around at the back of the boat like a walrus, if I've got one bit in my hand, I've got both. And that's a good thing. Now this thing here is not going to be familiar to many of you. This is what we call a spanner line. And the spanner controls the amount that the mast is able to rotate. So it can take up a nice curvature, a natural curvature of the sail. We probably want it pointing at the shrouds over there. The wires hanging up the mast. And that will give us quite a nice curve in the sail. Gets too windy, we pull it on and totally disrupt the airflow over the sail. This is what we call water in the hulls, and there's quite a bit of it. Some of you might say just drill a hole in the back, mate. I might be inclined to agree with you. The rigging a dinghy is exactly the same as rigging a yacht. But you just got to do it all on your own because your crew is actually filming you. The way we're going to do these sheets is we're just going to put the sheet through the clew and we're going to tie a figure of 8. Run our hands all the way along the tape, and the way we're going to attach the spinnaker halyard, the rope that pulls it to the top of the mast, to the sail, is pretty simple. I like to keep things simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Just popping this through here, like so. Pass the ball through, that's that done. The next thing we've got to do is the retrieval line. This pulls the spinnaker down the mast into the spinnaker chute. That's how we roll in a shearwater, spinnaker styly. Right, on this sail, the way that we keep the jib up and in the right place is zipped around the forestay here. Unfortunately, because we haven't used the boat for so long, it's a bit jammed. So we're going to go for bodging remedy number 1, my default. Well, my default's normally boiling water, but we're going to go with some, I don't know, natural still, sparkling something or other. Here we go. That weren't meant to happen. Clearly what's happened here is it's got a bit rusty. I believe that this stuff that I'm using is also used for hydration. Look at that, job done. Mainsail up. And now let's get out on the water. So today we have absolutely glorious conditions. This massively reminds me of the time I spent out in Vasiliki in Greece. For any of you don't know, Wildwind Sailing Holidays, the best sailing holiday company in the world. I'm not just saying that, I ain't sponsored. Also rocking Joyrider TV sun cap because, well, I just feel it's right. I am feeling at home today, people. For those of you that haven't met him, get away from this fella. This here is Laurie, this is youngest son, and he is the crew of the day. So, welcome on board your first trip on a Shearwater catamaran. Keep an eye out for boats whilst I'm not concentrating. So the Shearwater catamaran is a twin trapeze boat. The trapeze is a wire that comes from the top of the mast, and the crew, myself and the crew, have got a little hook on a harness, and that's the mainsail come down. Hang on, sorry about that. Mainsail now fixed. Top tip there is, if you haven't used your boat for quite some time, make sure you get out nice and early to check what is going on. So let's show you how this trapeze thing works. There's not enough wind for it at the moment, but we're going to show you anyway. Oh yes, the boy is trapezing, and that is how we do it, except we want more wind. Another top tip pre-race is make sure that you've got the spinnaker that we rigged in the park earlier correct. So we are going to go for a hoist right now. Right. So that was the spinnaker hoist. Spinnaker up, big red thing behind me, flying, child, son, crew, let's call him as he is, playing the spinnaker. Top job. That pretty looking boat behind us is our committee boat. Down the other end there is a little short orange dumpy mark. That creates the start line, an imaginary line between the two. So pre-start tactics are, as it was with Around the Island double-handed the other week, is we need to keep our eyes out of the boat. We've got to focus on where the wind is. It's quite hard to see from down here at deck level, but yeah, we're gonna have a go at that anyway. Much easier when you stood on the yacht 3-4 foot above the water. We have got tide coming in. It's about 12:30 at the moment. High water is at 5 o'clock, which means the tide is going left to right on the course. So I think our tactics are that we are going to go left off to the start line into the better tide, or into the tide. I don't want to go off on the other side. We're going to be the leeward boat if we can, so we can foot away and accelerate underneath everyone. That's our plan. I will have a chat with you after we've started. We have 2 minutes until our start. Our plan here is there's a bunch of boats up there. We're just going to try and tack underneath all of them. Up you go, buddy. Up, 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 up. That's us started. Kind of where we want it to be, but we've got one boat down there. We'll just keep trudging on and see how we get on. Okay. It's all a bit busy out here at the moment. That's us being crossed. Standard Shearwater fleet. It is very, very, very close. So first lap nearly done. We are out the back as expected. Fat boy on tour. Time for a jibe in a sec. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to carry the spinnaker on this or not. We'll see. Okay, so that was after the jibe, and we've not done too badly out of it. We've actually managed to catch a couple of boats down there, and we've got a couple of boats just up there. So we're back in the mix a little bit. Very, very fickle, this stuff. Come on, matron. So the game of snakes and ladders continues. We've made up a few places, we've lost a few places, we've made a few places, we've lost a few places. Net result is we're still about where we were half an hour ago. The breeze has picked up a little bit, which allows these lighter crews to start pushing a little bit more, whereas my belly just bogs us down. Okay, so in this super light airs, we're trying to keep our weight as far forward as we can on the boat. Try and stop the back end of the boat, the transom, trying to stop that sinking into the water and slowing us down. So what we're listening out for really is the noise of the water coming off that back bit there. We have hit a horrible, horrible, horrible light patch here. Well, we've done rather poorly out of that battle. We're losing speed here. We're going to have to drop the spinnaker and crack on. So what I'm finding out in all of this, it's very hard to sail a dinghy and chat to you guys as we're going around, because I am making mistakes left, right and centre. So, now I'm not saying we're going to be going any better if I wasn't, but it's a mighty fine excuse. So I think we'll try and finish off this one, and then we might sail our own race the next one and see how we get on. Can you hear that? How annoying is that? Shut up, boat. Oh, now things have quietened down a bit. Perhaps you can tell me, any motorboaters amongst you, why you feel the need to pass so flipping close to a sailing boat that's quite clearly going nowhere. I commend you. It really is a pleasurable experience. Thank you for giving it to me. Right, so that's the end of race one. Moments of highs, moments of lows. It's sunny and I'm sailing. And I'm with my boy. That's not a smile.
That's a smile.
It's like you farted. So we've got another 2 races in this today. I think we'll have a go at concentrating a bit harder on the next one. So we'll keep the phone in the pocket. And we'll see if you come out to play and we bring you along for the 3rd race. So the wind's pretty light and poop. And whilst we may have some sort of chance of catching the guys in front, this is the end of the day. So we've decided we're going to opt for a better tactic than everyone else. We're going to win the race to the bar. This is supposed to be the start of the 2nd day of racing. But as you've just seen, that rather flippy flop affair that I was just showing you, that's our tiller bar, just sheared as we were sailing along. So we're now limping back to the club to see if I've got a spare in our trailer. So that, as they say, is that. Couldn't fix that. Should really maybe carry some tools. I did have a spare set of rudders, but they didn't fit. So we're back before the first race is even finished. I guess the positive in all of this is that we know we need to do some boat work. The negative in all of this is that we need to do some boat work.